Now that international break is finally over, let's hope that we can kickstart our Premier League season. Now, other than our game against Liverpool, I'm looking at West Ham, Luton Town, Nottingham Forest. I think it's safe to say that we should have accumulated a lot more points in those prior games. And I kind of feel like maybe we are creating our own issues in that sense. So I'm doing things differently in today's video. I'll be discussing 3 things that Pochettino must fix. I'll be giving you guys my predicted lineup for Bournemouth tomorrow, and I'll end things by giving you guys my prediction too. Hit that like button, and of course, share your thoughts and opinions too. Without wasting any more time, yesterday in Pochettino's press conference, he discussed the utility behind using Ben in this role he's playing this season. In a sense, he's not really playing as like a typical left winger, and as Pochettino mentions, Ben does the right movements on the ball and off the ball in the final thirds at the right time. And I fully understand that and I respect that, because the stats show, and as I've kept saying a lot of times, Ben is ranking very high in terms of key passes made for us so far this season, and he has the highest expected assist rate compared to anyone at this point in time. However, here's why I see the situation personally, and this is where I fully embrace being an armchair manager. But my friends, I kind of see Ben as like the Swiss Army knife of the team, where he's very multifunctional, but he isn't necessarily specialized to do anything particularly well. So we are going to get away with using his functional abilities to, make those time runs in behind and to support the attack. But in terms of those specialized details, like, is he able to open his body up and take shots with his right foot? No. Does he have a turn of pace? No. Can he, of course, create some chaos with his 1v1 play and dribbling? No. And as I've noticed, I kind of feel like this kind of really affects Nicholas Jackson quite a lot, because even in that Nottingham Forest game, I was seeing Nico even drifting wide to the left-hand side, of course, just to bring some spark there to cause some different issues for Nottingham Forest. And when Nico is going out wide, Ben has to occupy the striker position. And are we going to expect too much from Ben in these areas? I don't think so. And it segues in now to my second important fix that I want to see, and that is Levi Colwill. Now, to give you guys a quick disclaimer, I'm not one of those people who feel like Thiago Silva should be out the team, because the only reason I can think of is due to his age. It's got nothing to do with that. If I was to tell you guys my concern, I feel like we just have too many ball-playing cooks in the kitchen. If you're a lesser team, let's say you're, Nottingham Forest in particular, why would you decide to press us high, knowing the fact that when you have Colwill, Disasi and Silva, 3 excellent ball players at the back, they're going to play through your press just like that? So your game plan is going to be, let's use a mid block, let's close down the passing channels, let's keep our shape compact in the middle, and let's get Chelsea to play sideways passes, slow their play down and funnel them out wide. And that's what these teams have been doing to us for I think nearly over 2 years right now. And I feel like we just aren't aggressive enough, of course, to break down their compact shape. And this is where I bring up my point about Levi Colwill, because for me, it has to be Colwill on the left-hand side with either one of Thiago Silva or Disasi. It really makes no difference. And as you guys are seeing on screen, I feel like Colwill's ball playing influence has kind of fallen off a bit as he's playing this centre back / left back role. Now again, this is a great example of the overall quality that Colwill has, that he can play this auxiliary position to a really high level at 20 years old. I mean, this is mad. He's a wonder kid. But I feel like we don't benefit enough from his incredible progressive passes. And I kind of feel in particular, Colwill really excelled at Brighton with his medium range passes and his long passes. On top of this too, Colwill's progressive carries have reduced. And the beautiful thing about having Colwill making progressive carries is the fact that it attracts the opposition to try and close them down. That's what Colwill wants. Quickly play through their midfield, and then those beautiful fast combo sequences of play that we were seeing throughout pre-season, that then becomes a viable attacking solution. And this ends things with my final point: Caicedo needs a proper partner. Now, Conor Gallagher, I feel, has really shown his usefulness in being able to play across many different midfield positions. He's not bad whatsoever. However, if you have an injury crisis, Why is Gallagher not playing the 10 role for the sake of the team so Enzo Fernandez can play his best position alongside Caicedo? We broke the British record for these guys to form that partnership and play together. And at Brighton, Caicedo regularly had a McAllister or a Gilmore or someone else who would, become the passing option, creating this little box four, which had the beautiful effect of, as I keep stressing, attracting players to try and press you, because that is how you break teams down. You have to funnel them, you have to move them about, and we aren't moving around the opposition's shape quickly enough. It's simply that. Caicedo can play great line breaking passes. He can play those great first time balls to find natural fullbacks, breaking wides, holding the touch lines. But in this position where we have a back three plus Caicedo at the base quite a lot of times, who does he really have to pass to? Now, by having Enzo Fernandez, who is the brain of the team, the guy who kickstarts the sequence of play, Caicedo, Enzo together with Caicedo sitting more and Enzo having the license to push forward and do what he does best. We've seen how our game broke down against West Ham, especially in that second half, as we became very sideways and became a cross and hope type of team because we couldn't move West Ham centrally. We saw that throughout 90 minutes against Nottingham Forest. We saw that a bit against Luton Town even. So they're my three fixes, and this now segues in very nicely now to my predicted lineup for the game tomorrow. Now, I feel like I'll do things differently by giving my predicted lineup, because I think we all kind of have a sneaking suspicion that maybe Pochettino is going to continue to use this makeshift, back three / back four. Now, in theory, there is nothing wrong with that, but I just don't feel like we have the necessary cooks in the kitchen. And I'm sorry, when you're playing against more inferior opposition, it does feel a bit overkill at times. I don't care about the passing stats we're accumulating or where we're ranking high for certain things. Why? Because teams want us to have the ball and play that way, because we aren't doing anything to break them down. So it's a bit of a fugazi stat in that sense. So even though I feel like we could see this, for me, I have to see more of a 4-2-3-1, and I have to see players in more natural positions that I feel can really help open up the opposition team. So as you guys are seeing on screen, up front has to be Nico Jackson. In behind him, I've gone for Mudryk on the left-hand side. I've gone for Cole Palmer in the middle and Sterling on the right. Midfield of Caicedo, Enzo, and of course defense of Ben, Colwill, Thiago Silva, Gusto, and I've gone for Petrovic in goal because I'll get my reasons why. Starting with Petrovic, I think after international break, he should have had enough time now to really acclimatise himself a bit more. I don't think that Sanchez has been bad, but I do feel that we haven't necessarily seen any magical sparks or any game-changing saves in that sense. I feel like we can definitely explore both the possibilities that we have in our new goalkeepers, and I'd like to see what Petrovic does now that he has a lot of hope around his name. Moving on to defence, I've gone for this back four. As I said, our defenders haven't necessarily been awful at all, even though there have been some individual mistakes. But I've simply gone for Silva and Colwill as just the balance of experience and youth, right? And I feel like Silva in particular, maybe he's suffered a bit more recently because we aren't even seeing his incredible playmaking ability out from the back. And we know that's not gone from Silva's game. But I feel like if we have maybe two centre-backs in that position, I think him and Cole would really complement. Cole being a deeper guy that's able to receive from the goalkeeper and then find those passes into a Caicedo. Play those passes in behind to Mudryk. Play those passes out wide to find Ben. They're the type of passing connections I want to see right now. And obviously Ben and Gusto have to be those options that can make those supportive runs out wide. I feel a lot of times I'm noticing maybe a lot more back passes played between a Gusto and Ben, for example. And I just feel I don't see the utility. It's not that it's bad or awful, or I know more than Pochettino. I just don't see the utility when it just really encourages a more negative type of play, if you know what I mean. So obviously, moving on to midfield, Enzo, Caicedo, they speak for themselves. I think Caicedo definitely needs more of a trusted type of partner alongside him. when he got dispossessed against Nottingham Forest. I'm not blaming anyone other than him, but I feel like if there was an Enzo in that position where, you know, Caicedo just has that telepathic sense of his teammates where he doesn't have to like take an extra touch to see where to pass to. He already knows. And I feel like we have to let these guys grow a bit with their understanding. I think having an Enzo in that pivot with Caicedo, that's going to attract a Bournemouth press onto them a bit more, hopefully opening up the spaces in behind for our attack to really do their damage. And this is why I feel like Cole Palmer should play in his, you know, best role, because essentially he is the Nkunku replacement, the Khan's replacement for right now, because we signed him for his ability to play as a 10, because he can drift out wide to help support the wingers. He can combine with the striker and play forwards. And most importantly, he can drop deep to make that makeshift midfield 3 when you need them. And I just think that I see positions where Cole Palmer, very intelligent, he can find those spaces in behind. Those similar spaces we saw Ian Maatsen picking up during pre-season, where he has the technical capacity to like receive on the half turn and drive. And, you know, we created a lot of goal scoring moments during pre-season by being able to open up the opposition in midfield, by creating more options between the lines. That's what it's all about doing right now. You know, right now we're playing too safe in front. I thought Palmer showed some decent like creativity in his first debut, but I think he's ready now. And I think tactically, for the sake and balance of the team, he needs to play that 10 role where he literally plays, you know, /9, 10 and 8. And now that moves on to the wingers. Sterling is just way better on the right hand side. I feel like when he cuts inside, he doesn't have that same effect. I think on the right hand side with this guy's close control, you know, his body balance, the acceleration, the explosiveness. I just think that a direct Sterling is a lot better for the team compared to a Sterling that has to kind of like meander and cut inside on his right foot. And I think Mudryk, for God's sake, I just think that these guys you're investing big money into, you need to get them a run of games. It's really that simple, because when you're an attacking player, you only improve based on the confidence that you felt from your last game. You know, it's one of those key positions where these attacking players, they have the responsibility of being effective in 1v1 situations where they must win that 1v1 battle. That's how it works. I just feel like Mudryk and Jackson have unfinished business together. We have to see the link-up play a bit more. We saw the promise during pre-season, and I think that if Nico had another speed demon alongside him, that's going to allow Nico to play balls in behind, knowing that Mudryk can find him. If Jackson drifts to the left-hand side, he knows that Mudryk is going to be like a better replacement to fill that vacated role. And on top of that, I just feel like Mudryk has shooting ability that he isn't even able to fully express right now. And every time we've used him, we use him in the game tactically is going against us. When there's 2v1 against Mudryk, it's not like how we're starting games in the first half. I feel like when he comes on, it's kind of like a losing battle to begin with. And I'd rather Mudryk gets taken off earlier compared to coming on into nothing games. And obviously to end things, Nico Jackson, I think it's very fitting that he plays against Bournemouth. I hope he scores. I would not be surprised. As we know, last January, Bournemouth came very close to signing him until they turned the deal down based on Nico failing a medical. Now, it looks like they've made an incredibly bad mistake. Him and Solanke could have been absolutely unreal together, but I'm happy that it worked in our favour. So, my friends, that is my predicted lineup. And to end things quickly with my match prediction, I feel like we have to see a win, no? Away from home, I think Bournemouth have more onus to have to like attack us a bit more, which hopefully creates a bit more space for us in behind. And, you know, Bournemouth have always kind of given that to us. So I'm going to go for a very safe 2-0 win. My goal scorers are Nico Jackson, and I'm looking at Raheem Sterling as well too. So my friends, this is my 3 things to fix / predicted lineup video. I'm Nini FC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.